click the button, set up the recording, and there we go. Hello, Mighty Nine. I talked about the first episode for a while, for a few minutes, for a moment and a half. So maybe I have something to say about this show. Who knows? It could be possible that I do. So let's take a look at the second episode and see if it continues. Because maybe it won't. Maybe I blew my. Maybe I shouldn't say it like that. Maybe I spent all the yap I had on the first episode, and maybe there's not that much for the second one. I guess we'll find out. But if you've not been along to one of these recordings before, when I record reactions, I do it lazy style, which means I'm not actually going to put footage up on screen for you to see. You're going to see this most of the time, which is you got some subtitles, which is lovely. You've got a timestamp that you can use to synchronize yourself with, but you're going to have the episode on your own screen, because I'm not going to show it to you, because I don't want to get killed by Amazon. So you have the episode on your screen, I have it on my screen. I'll say 3, 2, 1, go, and then we'll both play at the same time, and occasionally I'll need to yap about something, and I'll say, 3, 2, 1. Pause, and then I'll yap, and then once we're ready to go again, I'll say 3, 2, 1, go, and that's the way we stay in sync, and that's the way that we have to do this. Now, if that's inconvenient for you, you can join the Discord server. I post links sometimes, and you can come watch it more live with the lovely people who are there in the chat, and also the other people who aren't lovely. I'm sure there's some of you. Or you can become a member of the channel for $1 a month if you want, and then there are some more convenient versions of these reactions available if that is something you desire. But you don't have to. You can also just do it the complicated way here, the lazy way, and you'll be fine, honestly. Yeah, that's more or less how it goes, so let's just get into it, shall we? 3, 2, 1, go. Recap. Yay, war! War always works out well for everyone. There are never any negative consequences to war, especially not for most people. Cool hat. I mean, he's on the ground because you pushed him. There we go. Confidence issues. very efficiently establishing a character arc there. Ah, well, don't get attached to the mentor character, I guess. Ooh, CGI water. Looks quite nice. Oh no. That's not good. Three, two, one, pause. This... Oh, character design. Like, it's just like, yeah, no, sure. Just... Yeah, trustworthy. That's what he looks like. Oh no, yeah, he's probably gonna. I mean, you can tell, right? Like and I mean this positively. It's good character. You can tell what kind of motherfucker that is. You can tell, like the character design, the way he's put together, the way he handles his expressions and shit is like, no, yeah, okay. Like, I don't think anyone has the right to be surprised when this dipshit double crosses them. Morale, what? 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 Little man. Okay, he just wanted to come in here and walk around. It's a good scene, this. It is also a little bit... It feels like... Let's establish a character arc as quickly as humanly possible for this guy. It's like, yeah, I'm your gruff mentor. I'm teaching you how to handle yourself. I'm bolstering your confidence against your critical character flaw. Uh-oh, the secret thing from my past has found me. It's time for me to die, and you have to stand on your own now. Goodbye. Like, it feels a little bit like we're driving towards the world's fastest losing the beloved mentor arc. I may be wrong. That would be nice. And then, presumably, what Sabian wants to steal is the sword. Because we take the time to, like, have him reverently place it upon this pedestal, and, like, the sword is primarily in focus, and we're framing that as the central thing. And as he hears, "He found me," that's when he closes it away as though he's trying to protect it from whatever is coming. So we're animating the water on 2s, right? To sort of match the aesthetic of the show itself. And then here... Is that just parallax? Yeah, that looks like just parallax. It looks like we have the front layer of the boat railing there, and then we have a second layer there, and then we just scroll them relative to each other to sort of give the impression of a camera that's moving and the boat itself being moving quite a bit. And then because the camera move and because the water in the background is so smooth, it looks like they decided that this is a shot that needs to be animated on 2s, like full animation on 2s. So you can see the characters move very smoothly here in the background. Because you kind of want to match the level of, like, this very dynamic background that you've got, so they don't look, like, stiff and jerky relative to the motion of everything else that's happening. Fjord, Sabian, get that sail under control. And Fjord does, and then Sabian doesn't. But I'm sure he's a trustworthy sailor. Here we can see a little bit of the thing I talked about, how you can tell when an object is meant to be animated versus when it's meant to be part of the background. Here you can see it a little bit, right? You can see how this sail is like, oh, that's much nicer texture painted on it. And then this one is like, yeah, flat color and some shadow and some like cell shading. But it's good compositing still. Like, it's not super duper obvious. You can tell, but it's not like... And again, good compositing between, because it is CGI water, right? And it's very obviously CGI water, right? It doesn't look like anyone hand animated this in 2D, but you can see how much grain and how much like texture that they're using on the water as well as the rest of the animation to get the water and the way that it's rendered to sort of match the way that the backgrounds are rendered so it doesn't clash too badly. And it is very successfully done. Now, what do we have down here? Big circle. And they sort of move. So tentacles or crab claw? A kraken would be the obvious thing, but if it was a fucking giant crab, that would be cool. What a little weasel. It's like,
ah, yes, of course, you can trust me. I would never betray you or stab you in the back when you turn around.
what a fucking weasel. Like, that's readable character design right there. You can tell. Holy shit. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. You want outside again? Hermes. Oh, cool. You're going to be racist about it, too. Is that Yuri Lowenthal again? Oh, well... if he was willing to kill you with a bomb, you know... I don't know, Sabian. Where do you think you're gonna go? Don't pull the knife out. Leave it in so it staunches the blood. Well, he is confident about his swimming. That was a good explosion. Hang on. 3, 2, 1, pause. Yeah, so a combination of some digital effects and then... like the way you can see the ship itself get blown apart, right? It doesn't just vanish instantly. You can see like they animated the ripping and tearing and like the masts being broken apart from one another. And then some lovely animation over the water with the shockwave. Why? I mean, I guess they need it for the cannons, but why would you have that much fucking explode? That's a lot of explosives to make a shockwave that big. Jesus. How in the shit does he survive? I mean, presumably somehow, because obviously that's a character, but boy, stabbed in the gut and exploded. And in the water in the middle of a storm. Not a great starting point for an adventure. Well, actually, it's a perfect starting point for an adventure, but boy, we sure do need a miracle right now. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, hey, intro. Yeah, see, he's fine. Seriously, what's with that lollipop? I mean, every party has to have one, right? Like, it has to have the silly character, but is this a warlock kind of situation? Hexblade? The bracer as well, huh? It will look good on you, come on. So yeah, very quick opening character arc. Character introduction out of the way, let's go. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, pause. Just want to have a look at the water. Oh, that's very nicely done. So this is all about layers, right? We have so many different layers of things happening. We have, like, you can see these sparkles that sort of float by in the foreground. Then we have all of those surface sparkles and all of those, like, presumably there's some CG elements happening underneath, and then they're painting a bunch of effects on top of that. God knows how many shaders, and they're just parallax moving them at different speeds to get that lush, beautiful water out of it. Yeah, that's really quite good. And we're animating the whole thing on 2s. As he puts the hat down and lets it sail. And then this normal sword, where there's nothing weird about it. Don't worry about it. The sword is normal. And the sword had nothing to do with what happened. Don't think about it. Just does a little shockwave that I sure hope he notices at some point. As we get this... I think the hat here is a 3D object. It could be hand animated. It's hard to tell with the wobble, but... And then we cut to the depths, where nothing is hiding. There's nothing bad down there. Don't worry about it. What? He wants in, he wants out, he wants in, he wants out. What? What? You little monster. What do you want? Make up your mind. Would you please? Okay. Baby. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. So Hexblade or the depths? Oh, hey, the carnival. Spooky. I like Bo as a character, especially with the context of having been abandoned by her parents. Oh, we're just Jessica rabbiting this fully. Okay. I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, okay. Yeah, drop a sandbag on the stage. That's a great idea. I'm glad to see we can also be horny. That's an important component of D&D. 3, 2, 1, pause. Let's see. I like Bo's character that the recklessness is in the context of like a vicious need to prove herself, right? That she was possibly abused, but certainly thrown out, abandoned by her family. And that has sort of metastasized into like a heavy anti-authoritarian streak, but also like a relentless need to like prove that I can do it, right? As a source of the recklessness. That's why they are reckless. That's why they can't mind their mouth, is because there is this need to be, no, I'm here and I know what I'm fucking doing and I can do something. I can mean something. I can accomplish something good and I can be more than what my parents said I was, right? Like that makes sense as a point of characterization, as a source for that particular character flaw. Now, again, with the backgrounds, that's some lush background painting. There's some curves on those tiefling ladies. That's nice. Bit of implied lesbianism. We appreciate it. Or, well, sapphicness anyway. Hell of a voice performance as well. Something I do appreciate about the background character design is there is real variety to it. Like, not just in terms of skin tones, but like it seems like we've got multiple body types going on, right? Like we've got people at different age levels. Which is, again, that's the thing, like if you watch seasonal anime, isekai anime, like you get familiar with the background characters, right? Because they are very stock and they are very undifferentiated most of the time, right? Like there's very rarely a sense in the background of a bunch of the sort of fantasy isekai. There's very rarely a sense of, oh yeah, these are real people who have lives and like exist and have conditions outside of the utility to the story, because everyone is villager NPC number 1, villager NPC number 2, scared village maiden whom has to be saved, and they all sort of just like very neatly slot into those archetypes. Something you can do with background characters is like they don't all have to look like they're main characters of their own story, but so long as you make a point out of making them all physically distinct from each other, you create much more of a sense of, oh, this is a world that has like a society. This is a world where like people live and have lives, and like they lead different lives. They lead lives that lead them to have different bodies. They lead lives like with different ethnic backgrounds, with like whatever. And there is like, they are background characters, right? Like they are background NPCs, but there is a variety of age levels. There is a variety of body shape, right? Like she's more heavyset than her. A variety of skin tone, and we're working with a bunch of different fantasy species as well. And that gives a much more workable sense of like, oh shit, this is a place populated by people. I like that. I'm glad they took the time to do that. Also, hey, I guess medieval tech level, but they did invent dildos. With flared bases also. I'm glad they're conscious about like the health risks. It does look a little angular. I don't know that would be super comfortable, but you know, to each their own. And here then is Jester, I suppose, who's our goofball character, who I am sure is not going to go through any kind of horrifying trauma or turn out to have the world's darkest, most terrifying backstory. It's a good little gesture, this twist. Right? We get the reveal, pulls the hood down, and then there's this little follow-through. Yeah, some really nice subtle character animation on her here. I assume she, her. She, they, possibly? Yeah, they put a bunch of... There's a lot of frames being spent on this little character introduction. They really want to get the mannerisms across. As she's talking to apparently no one. Imaginary friend or just a person who's good at casting invisibility? Like, there's a lot of attention paid to, like, the specific whimsy of her physicality, right? It's not just that she enters and immediately does a little spin, where, of course, we're using the tiefling tail to accentuate. Does a little spin. She doesn't just walk, she hops, skips, runs very lightly. Immediately, we see that she's also someone who's interested in rendering service to other people, right? The first thing she does is hand a drink to someone, offer her back for some writing to happen, catches someone who's falling. So like we get, again, much in the way that Fjord's introduction was like very, hey, this is what your deal is. I'm your mentor character. I'm going to die now. Go have a character arc. This is also a very rapid, like, okay, who is this person? Well, she's a prankster. She plays little tricks and stuff. She's quirky. She's weird. Also, she takes care of everyone, right? She's there to catch people when they fall. She's there to help them with tasks that need doing. And she clearly gets a lot of joy out of being helpful in that way, right? Like, is willing to immediately take on a task, even if it's a difficult or annoying task, just to be helpful. So we get a lot of, again, very character introduction. This is what my deal is. Doing the double basic instinct there. The gesture when she belts the high note. Look at that the head movement here. That little subtle rotation of the mouth. That's quite good. Clearly, this one was meant to be a showstopper. Like, I think part of the reason why there's so many why so much of this is animated on twos is also because I think this is probably a sequence. They were like, we can post this one to social media for promotion. Because it's a musical number. Okay, solid introduction. Is she about is everyone in this place also about to get horribly killed in like some kind of firebombing? Oh boy. You never know. You never know with like the starting village has to be burned down, right? That's how it has to go to free the character of any obligation to family units or like extended connections. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, cool. She's explicitly a sex worker. That's nice. Yeah, that'll work out well for everyone. Lord Evil MacBastard throws everyone in prison who causes trouble for him. Let's cause trouble for him! Doesn't have a mom. Wait, hang on. Gute Nacht. Stretches like a cat. Oh, that's adorable. Hang on. 3, 2, 1. Pause. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna take a slight risk. Just altering something about how the thing appears on screen because of... Oh, that's really well animated. They even make sure, like, you can see the pile of hay reacts to the extra pressure. And then we get that, like, leading with the head slow walk around. That's very cute. That's adorable. Anyway, let me just undo that little change. Just for those who don't know, like, I keep a certain level of transparency on any of the footage that I actually do show on screen, just again, because of, don't want to run afoul of anything. But sometimes, when something is very dark, that transparency gets really tough to see through. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. I see someone has been to walking normal school. Do you have to stab people to death in front of it, though? Like, can you only get your soul in there if you get murdered? Is that specifically the thing? Sure. His mom is fine, right? Back with Ocean Boy. And his leather armor that seems to be painted onto his abs. What? Out again. He'll want back in a minute. Oh, hey, JB Blanc again. That's probably fine. That's normal. Don't worry about it. Are you about to stick that in your arm? I wouldn't. Yes. I don't know if you heard that, but they're testing the air raids alarms. Alcohol doesn't hydrate you very well. Yeah. Oh, no. No, the fire, dude. The fire. Well, okay, at least the horses will be fine. Oh, he does know how to walk. Liar. Hey, maybe being reborn a whole bunch of times is not good for you? I don't know. And if they're elves on top of it, good lord, that's a long time to be alive. 3, 2, 1, pause. Interesting that we're introduced to Essek by his refusal to walk on the ground. Like, because that certainly implies that this is something that's not just, oh, it's not just aura farming, this is a choice he makes for a reason that's relevant to his character. Which, the typical ways that would code is like he's literally not down to earth, right? Like it's a character who literally refuses to be grounded in reality. Or arrogance is the other thing. It's a character who's arrogant, right? Like a character who's like, I'm too good to walk like the peasants do. I'm like, who feels he's above the mundane things. Like, those are the ways that something like that would usually be coded. And there is the specific choice. I have to get ahead a bunch there. That he hovers over the ground outside. But when he comes home, that's when he touches the ground. Oh, those air raids alarms are really going off, aren't they? It has a different valence nowadays. When he comes home, that's when he becomes grounded. I will say, this second episode is just, in general, has a lot more animation frames just all over the place. I thought... Because, like, the first episode was definitely doing stuff on 3s and 4s and, like, keeping things... But here, like, we're just going on 2s. The whole time. Which is interesting. I wonder if the first episode was just not made with as much budget, or maybe it was like a pilot, or... Episode 1 just felt a lot more rough around the edges in a lot of places. It's curious that episode 2... is generally operating on such a higher frame rate, as it were. So, question of mom is clearly painful to Caleb. Which makes us wonder, hey, who's your dad? Question mark? Again, such good background work. Little acting choices here, right? Like, we understand the conflict that is between Essek and the Queen, right? That he is certainly powerful and well-esteemed enough to be in her inner circle, right? Be a part of her most secret council, but also, like, the fact that he is not a faithful definitely puts him on the outs. Right? Like, you can sense that distance between them. That he's not quite trusted. And the little lie he tells that he found the stone for her. Right? It's that thing of, on the one hand, he's not lying when he says he's not ready to lose her, right? Like, he's not lying when he says that the thing that's motivating him, that's pushing him, is his understandable terror at the idea of his mom passing on. But also, he lies to her immediately, right? Like, that's basically the first thing he does when we see them interact, is he tells a little lie because he wants the credit. He wants the praise, right? Like, there's a little bit of that needy, like, and again, like the sense I get there is he's a bit of a mama's boy, right? Like, he's a bit of a, he has attached a lot of his identity to her approval, I think. Is that would be the implication of it, is that a lot of his identity comes from her approval, from his familial relationship to her, which is not, like, necessarily an evil thing, but it also makes him very possessive over her, right? And when he has the opportunity to, he becomes quite controlling. And certainly that's what I'm getting here, right? Like it's that mixture of she's his rock, right? Like she has always been there. She's lived 1,000 lives. She's been like this protector that he's had all of his life, who's like kept him safe even despite his differences. He gets to not be faithful and rise to the top ranks of a religious empire. So he's always had her for protection. But then the other part of it is also like that thing of, well, I can't let you die because I'm not ready to let go of you. So therefore, right, like it's taking possession of her, right, as a thing that he needs to control, that he needs to determine the fate of. Which, if his conflict is in part between faith and, like, I guess he's a scientist fellow, right? Like, we need to study the beacon for science with science stuff. Like, the character conflict there would be one of he wants to study it because he wants to control it, right? Like, because he wants to control everything. He wants to control whether his mom dies. He wants to control how other people see him. He wants to, like, he has a need for control. And the beacon represents a loss of control because it is not understood. And if we don't understand it, we can't control it, right? And it's this danger. I wonder if that's what they're driving at. Like a character whose character struggle is learning to accept that which they cannot control, right? Like learning to let go of that need. Eventually, learning to let go of his mother, who is going to die from him. Tifros. So Tifros is dementia coded, basically, right? Like the coding is that she sort of disappears from her present reality. She disassociates or disappears into fantasies and memories and can't quite distinguish what's real. So it's coded to dementia, right? Like it's coded after like a parent who has Alzheimer's, dementia, some kind of neural condition that makes them sort of slowly vanish and disappear. And like they make the decision like when you've been reborn as much as I, she mentions being reborn, and that's when she has this. I guess it's essentially a trauma flashback, right? To a real good night with a real pretty lady, and then a real bad night as the soldiers come charging in. Are those Imperial soldiers, possibly? And then, I guess, an adventuring life? A soldier's life? Another death right in front of her. Same person, perhaps? Also reincarnated? And that feels like the show gesturing at the idea that maybe reincarnating souls over and 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 over again and having them have the memories of 100 lives. Maybe in the long term, maybe there are negative consequences. Maybe that's where Typhus comes from, right? Like maybe that's where you get the disease from. Who knows? That feels like the implication of it anyway. And it is a very difficult position to be put in, of course, to have to take care of your parent all of a sudden, right? To all of a sudden have to be the parent to your parent to a certain extent. I don't want to sound like I'm bagging on him too much. Like most people don't handle having to take care of their parents at end of life well, because you know, painful, traumatic thing, difficult thing to do. Especially if you live in a society where people aren't really supposed to die permanently. Handsome coif you got there. So that's an emotionally interesting character. I wonder about that floating. I'm not 100% sure I've decoded that, but it seems to mean something to him. Anyway, let's keep going. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, we're still character arcing, huh? We're still not there yet, huh? Oh, well, all right. So was that minor illusion? Oh, that's him? Again, good variety in the background characters. Oh, well. Maybe don't let yourself get caught. Oh my god, okay. Well, that's an Eldritch Blast. Okay, Warlock confirmed. You do now. So is it Hexblade or the Deep or both? Very good. 3, 2, 1, pause. Yeah, trauma flashback. And he's not ready to be brave yet. Interesting to connect that to food, sustenance. When he loses his courage, he loses the ability to provide for himself. Or it emaciates him, weakens him. And this is a slight subversion of expectation, right? Like, because my expectation was that these dudes, like, all the way down the street, they run into him. Oh, what the fuck are you doing? And then he's confronted with a fight. He kind of has to be brave kind of situation. But instead, the guy's just like, oh, sorry. And moves on. And it's just nice. But then... And it is lovely that, like, the spell effects are specifically water, right? When the mask comes on, is this wave of water rising up. And when it comes off, it literally melts off of him and vanishes. Cute. So I guess Bard or Trickster Rogue? Arcane Trickster. One of the two. Really poor idea to stand there laughing about it. Like, you do it and then run immediately and hide. I feel like would be the better plan, but I guess we had no escape plan. I quite like the fop doodle. Because you can lip read it, right? Like, sometimes with the speech, it's lip flaps, right? It's just like mouth open, mouth closed, mouth open, mouth closed. But here it's like Mr. Fop Doodle. Here you can practically lip read her. So they're really putting some emphasis into that one. Spitting the word. Yeah, again, lovely water effects. And the interesting thing is the sword here is forcing him, right? Again, we take the sword and its behavior and like the unwitting magic as expressions of the will of the patron, right? We take that as expressions of the will of whatever it is that he has unknowingly entered a contract with. And it's pushing him towards conflict, right? Like, it's pushing him towards fight, which I think ties back to, like, the ominous, like, grow, right? It wants him to grow, and one of the things it wants him to be is brave, capable of confrontation. Yeah, bloich. Yeah, partly water-like. There's some splash effects on there, but that is more just Eldritch Blast. And I guess he has Repelling Blast as well. Good invocation. Solid invocation to choose. Let's have a look at that sword fight. Just don't raise your hands at people, man. Just stop pointing your palms at things. I like the recoil. It's like, boom, like he fucking fired a gun. So I wonder, like, Mr. Fopdoodle there is clearly not a great sword fighter. He leaves himself open a lot, and I wonder if that's intentional, like the guy is just kind of aggressive but incompetent. Because all Fjord is doing is parrying, dodging back. And they're doing a good job with his body language throughout the whole thing, that all he's trying to do is run away, right? Like, all he's trying to do is run away and de-escalate. Ooh, gorgeous. Teleportation sickness. Please don't demonetize me, YouTube. Minor conjuration, I guess? Mage hand in the shape of a dildo? I had to. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Just coming in voiceover here to say 3, 2, 1, pause. Oh. Okay, I probably can't go over this footage on YouTube. Can't go over those pictures. If you want the convenient, uncensored version, membership on the channel. I appreciate the horniness. I like that. I like that we get to actually be sexual. And show some titty, for that matter. Like, dudes can go topless everywhere. It's ridiculous that we treat nipples like they're some kind of, like, horrifying erotic assault. I do like that. I like that the show is actually, like, sex and sexuality are a part of the world. Because that is a thing of, like, that's a world-building complaint I have with a lot of fantasy. Like, just a lot of stories is like, yes, absolutely, you don't need to have, like, explicit sex scenes and everything. Obviously, you don't. But there is definitely a thing where so many worlds, so much media, so many fantasy worlds especially, sexuality barely exists, right? It's like, characters might, like, oh, there's something slightly sexy, I'll blush about it a little bit, but, like, the actual presence of sex and sexuality as, like, a normal, ordinary, mundane component of people's lives is absent from so much media that I genuinely did not. I was like, oh, okay, cool. One of the characters is a sex worker. I did not expect them to actually show on-screen erotic art as part of the decoration of the brothel. But hey, they went there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit this video to make sure YouTube is pretty specific about nipples. Like, I have shown classical paintings in videos before, like classical fucking 600-year-old classical paintings. You'd find them in any textbook about art history, but because the nipples are out, YouTube has come in as like, age restricted! Ah! Corrupting the children! There's a woman's boob! Ah! So I'm going to have to be a little careful with this one. Anyway, we are at 33 minutes exactly with this subtitle on screen. I hope you have synchronized by now because we are about to start playing again. 3, 2, 1, go. Lots of gay sex as well. Lovely. See, this should be your cue to leave, Fjord. That's not how you pronounce that. It's Fjord. There's a J. Fjord. Wait, is she a cleric? Like... Trickster cleric, I guess. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, so he has to die now. 3, 2, 1, pause. Right, shit, no, can't show that. God damn it. Oh, more editing work for me. Again, lovely background work. Like the line art on these curtains. The way they bunch up and fold, it's really nice. Okay, about an hour 20 into the recording is when I have to go in. I may also have to censor the dicks. Man. I like what they do with her tail. Like that she's excited and she's whipping her tail around like a cat. And like there's a contrast in their body language that's being played up as well, right? Like Fjord, I refuse to say Ford. It's FJ Fjord. Fjord. It's a body of water that's like partially indented in with mountains. It's a fjord. God damn it! You cannot do that to a Scandinavian. Ford is passive, right? Like he is a passive character. He's a character who's afraid to take action. We saw that, right? Like you saw that kid being beaten up, even though he's a pretty big fucking guy. scared to help. He's passive, right? Same thing in the fight scene. He was passive the whole time. He was never active. He never does anything, right? He doesn't take any action. He doesn't, like, prompt to run. Jester has to constantly drag him along to run. He doesn't, like, throw down the furniture on top of Lord Sharp. He doesn't try and, like, take any offense or create any distance. He's passive, right? And Jester is extremely active, and you can see that in the body language, right? Like, Fjord is just standing normal style, just standing normal in the middle of the room, and Jester is the one who's moving, who's acting, who is asking questions, who's prompting conversation, who's trying to push everything forward. And Fjord can't match her at all, right? Like, he doesn't know how to be active. And then we get this moment where he sort of tries to imitate his mentor. But he still can't be active, right? Like, he's still reactive. He's still responding constantly to Jester doing everything. And it's good characterization for him. Although he does need to get over it at some point soon, or I'm going to start to get annoyed by him, which would be fine. It's okay for characters to be annoying, I'm just saying. Dude needs to find his courage at some point. And I would like it to be before, like, I would like him to find his courage not in the very last episode. I'd like him to find his courage, like, a little before that. Because it is just somewhat frustrating to me. It was like, oh, well, he can't find his courage yet. That's the end of his character arc. No, it's not. The end of his character arc is not him finding his courage. Not as he's been presented so far, anyway. Love this hand gesture, by the way. The end of his character arc is much more closely gonna be finding out what he's not willing to back down from. And that's not the same thing. Right? Like, finding some core of himself. Something he believes in that he will not yield on. That feels like the conclusion of a first character arc for someone like that. It's not just about, like, standing up to a bully or whatever. It's like it's figuring out its identity, right? Like, it's figuring out who am I, and, like, what hill am I willing to die on, right? Like, what's the thing that even if I don't feel brave, even if I'm not courageous, even if I'm not strong, what is the thing that I will not surrender, that I will not give up, right? This is a lovely, fast animation. Because, like, you look at the actual frames, right? And it's just scribbles and blur, right? Like, they don't you can't tell what the fuck the arms are doing. So how are you getting the sense that it's actually sewing? Well, the needle is doing it. It's the needle and thread that creates this figure 8. Right? Like, these curving, swooping shapes. That's the thing that gives this wiggle, 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 fast wiggle animation. Gives it the context that you can understand what's being done. And that's being done by having, like, the bear be very blue and the needle is very pink, and so it's readable in action. That's a really effective little animation. But yeah, again, even as he's trying to imitate a hero, because he's only imitating, right? It doesn't come from him. It comes from him pretending to be like his captain. So he's still passive, right? He's still unacting. Whereas, whatever else you can say about Sharp, he's active in pursuing what he wants. And I do like the little rug pull of this as well, right? Like, because the way Jester describes him when we hear of Lord Sharp the first time. Oh yeah, he's a doodle fop. He's a fop doodle. He's a dipshit. He's some spoiled little princeling brat dipshit idiot. And we all know that kind of character, right? Like, it's sort of weak, ineffective, not really dangerous, right? Like, it's someone who you can kind of bully and it's fine. Because he's a weak little mama's boy. What's he gonna do? Turns out, if you have a particularly violent, murderous, sadistic bastard in control of a government, he might just be like, I can do whatever the fuck I want, actually, up to and including. And maybe you shouldn't have pissed him off, Jester. So there's a naivety to Jester as well, right? Like, she's sheltered, right? She has never been allowed to travel outside of the chateau. She's never really known a world outside of the comforted bounds, I suppose, of a high-end brothel. And as such, she doesn't really know what violent men are capable of when they have unrestrained power and no one to hold them accountable. Dude, I suspect you're about to die, but like, I respect the fucking stoicism. I respect that he's just like, yeah, no, you have already stabbed me. I'm not gonna say a goddamn thing. So yeah, Jester lives in this world where you can just kind of prank people and it's fine, right? Like, you can prank people, you can play tricks. It's all fun, it's all fine, and like, the consequences are never worse than someone gets a little mad and gets a little embarrassed. And now she's tried that out in the real world, and it turns out, no, actually, if you fuck with powerful people, they are not going to be reasonable or proportional about killing you back. So this is probably about to turn out quite horribly. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Wet blanket. Go. Move. Take an action, dude. Ooh, that's beautiful. Is it the water or the reflection? The reflection, I guess. Good boy, Caleb. 3, 2, 1, pause. That's a good scene. That really is gorgeous. Look at that. Like, it's a little like the fucking lens flare. Like, the lens flare is like a little like, yeah, and like the fucking light bleeding, but like you can't deny the composition, the effect, like with the bright light gleaming off of the water. And the two of them walking, like, that's a good composition. That's a good goddamn composition. But I like this scene a lot, because, like, deliberately, we're not shown Caleb's face, right? Like, we don't get access to Caleb's emotions right now at all. So we're stuck with Nott and how she's feeling. And how she's feeling is guilty, right? She's like, I tried to do something nice, kind of, but I overdid it, and things fucked up and blew up in her face, and now we got kicked out of where we were sleeping. And God, is he mad at me? Is he gonna turn on me? Is he, like... Like, so we get these shots, like, from her perspective, looking up at him, turned away from her, right? Like, this thing, like, oh God, like, what's he feeling? How is he feeling, right? Should I be worried? And then we get to the water, right? Like, which, again, if not, has a lot of shame going on, which sort of seems to be the thing that's happening. A look on her at her own reflection, and she kind of shrinks. Because she's already in a position of, like, feeling very ashamed of herself, and then she sees herself, and it sort of compounds. And then Caleb does a very kind thing, right? Without making a point of it, without, like, there's no... It's not 100% clear that he knows how much this might mean to her. But it's this, like, a person who's completely expecting rejection receives kindness, right? And that's something that, like, okay. It'd be nice to get some insight into where Caleb finds all of that sort of sanguine acceptance, which I assume is going to happen at some point. But at this point, I fully understand why Nott is going to be ride or die. Because when you, like, if you've lived with a lot of shame and you've been starved for any kind of positive affection for a long time, yeah, you might latch on to like whatever source comes along, for better or for worse. Hopefully for better, since Caleb is a protagonist. But, you know, it can also result in latching on to sources of affection that maybe you shouldn't, you know, you shouldn't attach yourself too tightly to. But when you have nothing else, like, that can buoy your sense of self up, then, you know, you take what you can get sometimes. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Sending. Hey, cool. Another lovely background. And a carnival, I would imagine. Good question! Good question indeed! Hexblade Warlock of the Deep, huh? Ah, great. Could you maybe wipe the... Yeah, like, should probably have done that a minute ago, dude. Three, two, one, pause. Let me just have a look at that teleportation spell there. Ooh, that's pretty. Yeah, and like consistent waveforms as well. You can follow the progress of the waves around the ring. Like, it's slightly too low frame rate to look really smooth. That you'd have to animate that on ones to really make it smooth, but like, that does look good. So, a bunch of digital effects. Eventually augmented with what looks like some hand animated, like, lightning. Energy curves, and then we congeal, and then at this point, I think, more or less, is when they actually draw in a character. Maybe a little sooner than that, and then just fade it out. Yeah, that looks really nice. Cool. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. I mean, one advantage of not walking is you don't make footsteps, so I guess I can see it on that front. But like, you only have so many spell slots, dude. You can't cast Levitate all the time. Oh, you're in on it. Yeah, and he won't betray you. He would never. I mean, it's reasonable to have some trauma dreams at this point. Oh, oh, good framing. Talk about someone seeing right through you. Very fun to make the connection between, like, the vertical slit of the eye and then the vertical slit in his chest. I appreciate the butt scratch. Another lovely scene. Look at this fucking scratchy, really analog rendering. Like it was painted with, like it was drawn with pencil and coal. It's gorgeous. And like that roughness is being used to like match, because it's campfire scene, right? It's the middle of the night. It's dark, it's heavy shadows, everything is a little bit sort of blurred out and gray the way the things are at night. And again, really good compositing to make this bright green character with nothing but flat primary colors fit into a background that is so textured, whereas the characters are not. As for a sailor, you're not super great at swimming. Like do a breaststroke or something, dude. In fairness, maybe I couldn't swim so well after being stabbed and blown up either. Maybe I could. I don't know. I've never had opportunity to find out. So near as I can tell, are we doing like a 2D, 3D thing? Like the eye. So the eye could be either 2D or 3D, frankly. My guess is that the eyelid is 3D at the very least. It's hard to tell with the light, but it looks like these volumes on top of it would be very difficult to paint to move like that. So I think the eyelid is 3D. The eye underneath may be a 2D. It's presumably 2D, 3D hybrid at some point, but it looks very good. I guess that song, Who Will You Be? Is that the thesis statement, I suppose? Who will you be? Like, it's an identity quest? That does seem to square with pretty much all the characters. Caleb is looking to have his magic back because it's a big part of, like, his self-identity. Not struggles with a lack of, like, self-feeling and self-identity because she like, has, you know, whatever's going on with her. Jester is kind of unformed as a person because she's never been anywhere outside of this tiny little birdcage, right? That she's been locked in all her life. Fjord obviously needs to figure out who the hell he wants to be. Beauregard is struggling with identity, right? Like, is driven to do what she does because of identity. Become, grow, breathe, learn. Hear, feel, listen. Hear, feel. Da, 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 da. So I guess thesis statement so far is identity and becoming. Choices about who will you be, like who do you want to become? Okay. Classic place to take it. And also a classic way to structure a D&D campaign, because the thing about D&D campaigns, right, you start with a character as like, oh, I have this idea of who this character is, and it's definitely how I'm going to play it. 22 sessions later, oh, this is completely the opposite character of the character I thought I was playing. Like, it happens, you know? You make decisions, and it changes you. To all of my children in whom life flows abundant. To all of my children to whom death has passed his judgment. Genuinely beautiful background work. I will say, like, genuinely, there's a big fucking difference. There really is a big fucking difference between episode 1 and 2 in terms of production quality. Like, the backgrounds are relatively consistent, but cinematography and animation seems to have taken a step up. I wonder how consistent that's gonna be then. Tim McGraw? Annika Noni Rose. Cool. Tim McGraw is who I'm thinking of, right? Yeah, it's not the country singer, right? Is it the country singer? It is him. Okay. That's a hell of a pull. Who the fucking Critical Role knows Tim McGraw? Edge Animation Company. Okay, so it's a different animation company, straight up. So they farmed this out to multiple different... Wait, was it Edge Animation last time? I don't think it was. Yeah, no, that was... Okay, so it's different animation companies are handling each episode. That explains the difference in animation quality in some places, I guess. I guess Edge Animation just had... Either they had more time and budget, or else they had a more experienced production line. Sometimes a company being very well oiled and well experienced can make the difference between like making something a lot more polished, or they crunched more. It's, you know, you never know with animation. I would really hope that the folks at Critical Role were careful about like their production pipelines, that they didn't use any studios that engaged in crunch. But that's one of the things with outsourcing, right? Like, one of the reasons why corporations love outsourcing is because if they outsource to another company in some other country, well, if that company does some bad stuff or whatever, oh no, we didn't know about it. We didn't tell them to do that. Oh, that's terrible. Oh no, well, not our responsibility, right? Like, that's why corporations love it. If you are an independent production and you're outsourcing your work to a studio in the other country, like, you don't necessarily have the resources to go and audit the production pipeline, right? You don't necessarily have a guy who can go and check that the workers are being treated well. You just kind of have to except that when the company tells you that their workers get like sick days and healthcare and whatever, that they're telling the truth, but it's hard to know, right? Like, so I do hope that the folks at Critical Role had the people and the resources to manage that production pipeline. Which is also, like, that's also presumably going to be mostly Amazon's job, and I don't trust Amazon to not choose animation studios that crunch the shit out of their workers. I don't trust them to do that. So I don't know. I hope not. I hope that the difference in quality was because the other studio had a more experienced crew, had a better, like, a more functional pipeline, maybe had a little bit longer to make the episode than for episode 1. I would like to think so. I would like that to be true. But it's hard to know. Yeah, I hate to end on a bummer like that, but that's sort of the animation industry, right? Like, independent studios are not immune either. Like, I know there has been working condition problems at Glitch. I know there's been working condition problems at Spindlehorse. I don't know what the state of those studios is now. To the best of my knowledge, Glitch has improved. It feels from chatter and, like, sort of what I can absorb third hand that Spindlehorse is getting better, ? But I wouldn't know because there aren't any journalists. There aren't any journalists working that beat. There isn't anyone who can really check. So we can never really know, and it's frustrating. I hope no one got crunched working on this or any other show that I react to. I really do. Anyway, that's a lovely bummer to end on. Goodbye.